Here are some facts and details that you could have easily missed in the Batman Arkham games. Some of these facts have been submitted by viewers that I will credit, and if you want the chance to be featured in the next video, be sure to comment down below. In Batman Arkham City, there's a secret Riddler room that the game never intended for you to find out. After completing 160 Riddler challenges, Riddler will give you the location of the 4th hostage located not too far from the steel mill. Right beside this though is a wall with no collision detection, meaning Batman can phase through it. The easiest way to get to this wall is to stand here or on a higher building, glide and aim to get in between the fence here. Doing this, then walking over to this wall, Batman will be able to get through it for some reason. After doing this, we can find a door that leads us to Riddler's 4th hostage, but for some reason going through the opposite side will bring us to the secret room where we can find Riddler posing. From what I understand, this is how Riddler is projected on the wall when we go up against him in the Riddler challenges. The weird thing about this room is that there are random assets laying around, which makes me think that this was an early prototype of one of the Riddler challenge rooms that had been scrapped. In Batman Arkham Knight, after Scarecrow escapes with the Cloudburst, he informs us that Barbara Gordon, aka Oracle, is being held in a safe house in Chinatown that we previously visited to get Poison Ivy. As we enter the safe house, Scarecrow floods the room Oracle is in with fear toxin. Unable to process what is going on, she decides to pick up a gun beside her and shoot herself. A subtle detail that shows Barbara's death was not real and Batman was hallucinating is that just before Barbara picks up the gun, we can notice that Joker moves the gun slightly closer to her, which is not possible as Joker is not really there. Mr. Dreamer 09 lets me know of a really good detail that after the apparent death of Barbara, by leaving and returning to the safe house 3 times, Barbara's body will disappear and Joker will make this comment.
Hang on, did you leave something here? It was sort of body-shaped, wasn't it? You think Jimbo took her? He's gotta be a prime suspect. I imagine Gordon shoveling the dirt on Bab's body right now, then heading off for revenge on Scarecrow. Might as well jump in the grave with her and save himself some time. Someone needs to have a word with the commish. I thought tampering with a crime scene was a serious offense. Well, maybe they make an exception when you're related to the evidence.
Now, I wasn't able to get it working originally after multiple attempts using Mr. Dreamer's suggestion, but I believe what you do need to do to get this secret is to progress through the main story slightly in order for Barbara and Joker's bodies to swap, but let me know if there's another way. In Batman Arkham Knight, there's a mistake that the developers made which can be very easy to miss. The Arkham Knight, no, not the title of the game, but the actual villain, is one of the main threats to Batman during the events of the game. Nearing to the end, Jim Gordon is captured and Batman makes his way over to rescue him. We locate Jim and take down the guards surrounding him, but before we are finished untying Gordon, we are interrupted by the Arkham Knight, who reveals to us that he is actually the presumed dead Robin, Jason Todd. Jason threatens to shoot Batman and Batman counters him and headbutts him. This damages the top layer of his helmet, which Jason then discards to reveal the red hood mask beneath it. After defeating Jason in the boss battle, we can come back to the area to spot the Arkham Knight mask laying there. The only issue with this though is if we go to the GCPD, the Arkham Knight's mask is also in the evidence room, which seems to be an exact replica, even down to the damage that Batman did to it. Is this a mistake by Rocksteady? Let me know below. In Batman Arkham Asylum, there's a death animation that many people missed while playing through the story, and there's only one time this death animation can be activated. In the main story, we need to collect spore samples for an antidote to combat Joker's Titan. To get them, we need to make our way to Killer Croc's lair. Before entering the lair, we place a sonar beacon at the entrance so we can make our way back, and explosive gel on a weak floor for when Croc attacks us. After collecting the samples, we head back with Killer Croc close behind. Ignoring what the average player would do and what the game expects the player to do, we can refuse to detonate the explosive gel on the weak floor. Once Killer Croc catches us, we can get this unique animation. Have a look for yourself. Did you know that there are lightsabers in Batman Arkham City? By playing the side mission Shot in the Dark, the main objective is to take on Deadshot, who's taking out political prisoners to cover up Hugo Strange's schemes. After completing crime scenes 1, 2 and 3, we get enough clues to track down a rough area that Deadshot could be organising his crimes. Once we head north of the Gotham City Police Department, we can find a substation that Batman can crack open to reveal a plethora of weapons and gadgets that Deadshot owns. One of these weapons being a lightsaber, a clear reference to Star Wars and more specifically Mark Hamill, who voiced the Joker in Batman Arkham City, but also played the main character from Star Wars, Luke Skywalker. In Batman Arkham Knight, there's a really cool detail that shows Joker's influence on Batman even before the events of the game. Harley Quinn attacks the Panessa Studios. The reason for this is to take the Joker-infected people to have for herself. Batman and Robin team up in order to bring the Joker-infected back to their cell, but during this operation, Harley Quinn will actually comment on how picking a place like Panessa Studios would be something that Joker would do.
How's it going, Bad Brain? Nice place you got here. I think my Joker would have liked it. Kind of place he would have picked.
Now, it may have not just been the Joker's influence, as it appears to be that the movie studio has been abandoned for quite some time, so it would be a good choice. But if that's what it was intended to be, then it is a nice little detail. In Batman Arkham City, there's a voice actor credited as a voice of a character, but does not even have a line in the entire game. Nightwing is a character who never shows up during the main story or even in the DLC. The only time that Nightwing shows up during the game is if you go to the Riddler challenges. Strangely though, Quentin Flynn, who you may know as Raiden in Metal Gear Solid and Sheldon Lee in My Life as a Teenage Robot, was credited as the voice actor for Nightwing, even though he does not have a speaking role. You may think the reason for this was they did the grunts of hitting or getting hit in the challenge maps, but these were actually done by Troy Baker. This leads me to believe that Nightwing had a greater involvement in the story of Arkham City, whether it be the main story or DLC. To make things worse, when Nightwing would finally receive lines to speak in the 2015 Batman Arkham game, Quentin would be replaced by Scott Porter for the role. All hope was not lost for Quentin in the Arkham universe, as he was assigned to voice Alberto Falcone in WB Montreal's Arkham Origins a couple years after Arkham City. In Batman Arkham Asylum, Rocksteady Studios only had 40 people at the early stages of development, which later increased to 60 nearing the game's release. Out of those 60 people, one Rocksteady employee spent 2 years exclusively working on just Batman's cape and nothing else. It may sound like a simple task, but Rocksteady felt it was so important and wanted the cape to be as realistic as possible, so much so that the developer working on the cape had over 700 different animations and sounds, which is insane to think that Rocksteady would put in that much attention to detail, but honestly, it is awesome to see. In Batman Arkham City, we are captured by Hugo Strange and set into Arkham City, which is a mega prison that was constructed to house all the inmates from both Arkham Asylum and Blackgate Prison. When we reach the entrance of the prison, we are attacked by thugs, and the person we have to help, who's also being attacked, is Jack Ryder, who was put in the prison due to investigating Hugo Strange's work. After saving Jack, we are greeted by the Penguin, who knocks us out and brings us to an alley to torture us, as the Penguin claims that the Waynes destroyed the Cobblepots. We all know how it plays out. Bruce counters, climbs the Ace building, and suits up. But did you know that you can save Jack Ryder a second time? By heading to this location, you can find Jack Ryder here and fight off the attackers. The unique thing about this interaction is that you cannot save Ryder after going to the courthouse. If we head to the courthouse without saving him, we can just find him hiding in an alleyway close by. The benefit of saving Ryder, which is used by many speedrunners, is that this counts towards the Acts of Violence side mission. The handy thing about this is that it saves you time running around waiting for the random Acts of Violence event to start.
The name's Ryder. Jack Ryder.
The TV reporter?
Yeah. You a fan?
No.
In Batman Arkham Knight, Scarecrow has taken Commissioner Gordon and Robin hostage and will kill them if Batman does not surrender. Scarecrow gives Batman the location to surrender, which Batman travels to. Something interesting to point out is that Batman will stare at a symbol beside the door of the entrance, which if you didn't know is the Red Hood symbol, as even Batman acknowledges this while in the truck, as Alfred finds out that someone is tracking Batman's position.
Master Bruce, can you hear me? I'm detecting someone tracking your movement through the city.
I knew he would.
I think I may have missed something, sir. Who are you talking to?
It is a detail that is super easy to miss, but really cool, that shows Rocksteady care to add little things such as this. In Batman Arkham Asylum, when you go up against the two titans in the Joker's party, it is possible to pull down thugs from the railings, instantly knocking them out using the Ultra Bat Claw. These thugs are the ones that are meant to join in the fight, so knocking them out early can be quite useful to give you some breathing room. Now I believe the thugs infinitely spawn, but it is still pretty funny that it is possible. In Batman Arkham Knight, there are plenty of voice actors from the animated series that return to do voice work for the Batman Arkham games. We all know Mark Hamill as the Joker, Kevin Conroy as Batman, Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn, then later on the original Batgirl, Tara Strong replacing her. Funnily enough, there's another overlapping voice actor in the animated series and Batman Arkham franchise, but they played completely different characters. Lauren Lester, who played Dick Grayson's Robin and then later Nightwing, was asked to voice a character for Batman Arkham Knight, but not the character he once played. It was actually for Dr. Langstrom, aka Man-Bat, that we meet in the side mission Creature of the Night. Although a pretty minor role, I'm sure he was happy to return to the Batman universe once more. In Batman Arkham City, by going to the steel mill and entering the same place where we first meet Joker in person, we can find a positive pregnancy test, which insinuates that Harley Quinn is pregnant with Joker's child. But if we go to the same place, in the DLC of Arkham City, Harley Quinn's Revenge, we can find a Scarface doll in a crib surrounded with negative pregnancy tests. Apparently, Paul Dini, the main writer for Batman Arkham City and Asylum, left due to creative differences and was one of the people that wanted to create a storyline where Harley Quinn was pregnant. Paul Dini left before work on Harley Quinn's Revenge started, and Rocksteady were uninterested with the storyline, so they decided to get rid of it, which was most likely due to her involvement in Batman Arkham Knight later on. How true these rumours are though remains to be uncovered. In Batman Arkham Asylum, there's a speedrunner trick that lets you get through the first Titan boss battle in seconds, even on hard difficulty. This is very early on in the game, where Joker has escaped and we are introduced to Joker's plans of having juiced up Titans wreak havoc on Gotham City. The average player would normally hit the charging titan with a batarang, then punch them a few times before retreating. A speedrunner will actually run to this specific corner and get hit. As long as the titan does not charge at you, you will not die from all the titan punches. Your health will drop significantly low, but before the titan can hit you with the final blow, they will have a heart attack, meaning the boss battle can be finished in as little as 20 seconds. For this strategy, you will need to run to this corner straight away, or the titan will be likely to charge at you or throw a body at you, which could kill you depending on your health. If you're enjoying the content so far and want to support me further, please consider becoming a YouTube member. Link in the description of this video where you can get a heap of benefits. In Arkham Origins, there's a reference to an extremely rare villain that first appeared in the Batman animated movie in the early 1990s. Spoilers for Mask of the Phantasm. In order to find this Easter egg, we need to go to the Batcave under Wayne Manor. If we go past where Alfred is standing and opposite the Bat computer, we can find postcards that are addressed to Bruce from a woman called Andrea Beaumont, who was a former lover of Bruce turned supervillain after the death of her father. Although she does not appear in the Arkham games, it's still pretty cool to see a reference to an older animated series villain. What she says in the postcard is, "Dear Bruce, I will be in Rome till the 30th. I still have no news on my father. Please contact me as soon as you hear of anything. You know how to find me, Andrea Beaumont." In Batman Arkham Knight, there's a reference to an iconic game hidden in Gotham City. First, we need to head to the Falcone shipping, the same place where Batman gets his suit upgrade. But beside this is a dock where we can land with some chairs, beers, and a chessboard. Now, Rocksteady could have easily placed random chess pieces on this board and called it a day, but the placement of these chess pieces are actually a lot more interesting than they seem. The placement is the same placement of the Immortal Game, which is a game which happened in 1851 between Adolf Anderson and Lionel Kazaretsky. The interesting thing about this game is that Anderson played extremely aggressive, losing many pieces such as pawns and even more valuable pieces such as the rook and bishop. Despite losing so many pieces, Anderson ended up beating Kazaretsky, and that's why it became so famous due to how clever Anderson was and how it looked like a losing battle for most of the duration of the chess match. In Batman Arkham Origins, there's a breakout in Blackgate that Batman needs to stop. While tracking down Killer Croc and Black Mask, we can find Vicky Vale and other civilians trapped behind bars by some Black Mask men. After taking them out, we can go to the reception area, which is opposite the cell where Vicky is locked, to find a clipboard with a visitor sign-in sheet. Someone that appears multiple times on the sheet is Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow, who at this point is not a known villain and will apparently have his origin story told in the upcoming game Batman Arkham Shadow. In Batman Arkham Knight, at the start of the game we play as Officer Owens, a GCPD officer who is taking their lunch break at Paulie's Diner. As we enter the diner, we can actually spot a familiar face that is Sefton Hill, who is the creative director for Batman Arkham Knight. Another detail pointed out by Juanmankilla1474 is that after speaking to a person complaining about the customer smoking in the corner of the room, we are free to roam around the diner. But if we try and leave the diner, Officer Owens will say this:
I should talk to that customer who's smoking before I leave.
In Batman Arkham Knight, there's a secret in Wayne Manor, which gives us a small hint towards the next Batman Arkham game. The best way to look for this Easter egg is to first take down every enemy apart from one, just so they aren't able to interrupt you. Go into the center of the room, we can find a hidden wall using detective vision. We can open this wall and walk through, and then find another hidden wall to exit. This leads us to the sitting room, where we can find a piano. Going up to this piano, it gives us the option to interact with it. By doing this, we'll reveal a wall with a bunch of writing such as "He knew his killer," "Bodies in the morgue," "Whose cell," and below it is a door with the number 425. From what it looks like, this is a murder that Batman is trying to solve, which it is, but not a real one, as Batman is actually trying to solve, or at least understand, a dream that he's been having. This dream is actually the main focus of the 2016 Batman Arkham VR game, and if you didn't know, Nightwing is killed in this dream, and Batman is confused as Nightwing seemed to know his attacker as he spoke to him and had his guard down before the fight broke out. Bodies in the morgue is actually something that we investigate in Arkham VR after people are killed in the Iceberg Lounge bombings. And near the end of the game, we come up to a cell with the number 425, which is actually Joker's cell, which is also the same number which we can see in the drawing in Wayne Manor. Another thing about the number 4-25 is actually a reference to when Joker made his comic book debut on the 25th of April 1940, so this is a clear nod to their upcoming VR game at the time. And as this was a map that was originally in Batman Arkham City, I tried to interact with the piano again, but there was nothing, which was expected, but still worth a try. I have to thank Thomas Meeson for suggesting this Easter egg. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you find any facts or details that you think are interesting. Here are some similar videos I think you will enjoy. That's all for now. My name is Fo, and Slán.